Hey, welcome to another edition of DevHub Live. I am your host, Joe. Thanks again for joining us today. We have a great episode. I am by myself today because we are action-packed here with multiple developers talking all about AI agents. This is born out of a few different things. So if you've been following along, we have had Bitte protocol on a few times to do actual like workshops and some tutorials, especially around the redacted hackathon on things like that. We got to a point now where, BitDay has really started to grow this out. They have a full registry now. You can see analytics, and they've actually been doing a bounty program for a little while outside of hackathons to allow builders to contribute different agents that are beneficial to the entire ecosystem and just in general things that are like necessary or that you maybe would want as part of an AI agent system. And today we have a really awesome episode where two of those bounty winners are going to come on and talk about what they built for BitDay. We also have Microchip from BitDay to talk about building agents. And on top of all of that, we're announcing that at DevHub, we matched those bounties to these developers for the work that they did. So we've done a bounty matching program in the past, and we felt that it was important to recognize developers. So these are all really exciting things that I think are a big part of what we're trying to get across here on Near, and just, again, what BitDay is doing with all their AI agents. So with no more delay, let me introduce everybody, and let's get started with talking about AI agents. All right. Thanks, everyone. Thanks for joining me today. We have here Slime, we have Deswinder, and we have Micro. And guys, maybe we could just start with talking a little bit about what you guys actually built and what that looked like for the bounty program. Jazz, you want to go first?
Sure. Yeah, I can go first quickly. So I built a Dow agent on top of Bitte protocol. The Dow agent lets you interact with your Sputnik V2 contracts at the moment. So you want to query your DAOs, you want to create proposals, you want to vote on proposals, you want to transfer funds, near or fungible tokens. You can do all of that stuff. There's a bunch of new features coming soon as well. So yeah, all the things that you want to do with your Sputnik V2 contracts are already part of the Dow agent, and some new features are coming along.
Awesome. And Slime, what did you build?
Hi, I built a staking agent. It can do staking, unstaking, and that's all.
Nice.
That's all you need from a staking agent.
Yeah. No, awesome. Great stuff. And Micro, you want to talk a little bit about kind of what you guys are doing to enable them to build agents like this?
Yeah, sure. So, I mean, I think we're building this framework, right? This agent framework that it's pretty simple. You pretty much any API can become an agent, and that's kind of like what these folks did. They built an API, attached a file, like a single manifest file that kind of explains what the API does. And then our runtime, when ingests this data, makes these APIs smart, right? So that's kind of like what we're building. And it's very nice to see like enabling developers to do this, because they don't need to like create open API keys or not, sorry, open AI keys. They don't need like any of this stuff, because just plugging into the Bitte runtime, we are the ones paying upfront the cost of the AI inference. So I think it's just a very good enabler for developers in general that don't want to like spend a lot of money to experiment with these tools.
Yeah, one of the things that you guys have is, so there's two parts of it. One is obviously your like main registry, but then you also have a playground where anyone can just, from their local setup, actually start building and trying this out, right?
Yes, exactly. Like you can run these things locally, connect directly with the runtime, and it works the same way as it would work live, right?
Yep. Perfect. So Jazz, let's start with you and what you did for DAOs. Now, this is something that has obviously been an issue across all ecosystems. It's just DAO tooling in general. Why did an AI agent make sense here?
Right. I I feel like for me personally, I essentially use Sputnik V2 contracts a lot. And after a point of time, I was kind of done with the UIs for multiple reasons. So I was actually doing CLI to do it, and it was a bit complex, obviously. Um, I feel like the AI agent, the whole natural language processing interface to interact with the smart contracts or even just general data is just an easy way to sort of interact. And I feel like even in the UI, uh, doing the going to the exact point of doing something is difficult as compared to just saying something like, "What are the proposals I can vote on? Uh, Show me the details of a certain proposal." I feel like it just makes it very easy. Like this stuff is easy in the UI for sure, and sometimes UIs can be clunky and whatnot. But with natural language, it became like really simple, right? It's like interacting with the V2 contracts in a more organic way than interacting with it in fixed 7 things that a UI can do, right?
Mm-hmm.
So stuff like, and I'm thinking to add much more functionality to it, in which you can do probably more intelligent stuff. Say something like, what are the most important proposals I should look at right now, and not just the top 5 even.
Right.
What are the proposals I need to give more importance to right now, stuff like that. So just interacting with all the V2 data in a very organic / user-friendly way is the ultimate goal for sure. But yeah, to me, because I keep on sending my friends and other people of the different DAOs that I'm part of to either create proposals or sign proposals or just push them to vote on proposals that are pending. And then they have to go to, I don't know, multiple clicks to find that out. But with the agent, it
Right.
was as easy as saying, get me all the DAOs I'm part of, get me all the proposals I can vote on, show me the details of this proposal, vote yes, vote no, etc. So it's
Yeah.
super easy, and it was a personal pain point for me. So I actually just wanted to build it for myself and my other DAO members initially, and it also kept it in like beta for 2 months and not told about it to anyone before it went to production.
Yeah, no, I think it makes sense. And Slime, this is a good time to kind of bring up also what you built with the staking part, is that one of the things that Agent seems to do really well is make crypto transactions more accessible to people. I no longer have to go through my wallet, and even though this is actually inside a wallet, it's inside the Bitte wallet, but it doesn't feel like a wallet. It just feels like I'm having a chat. Slime, did you see that as an opportunity for the staking piece there?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. But actually, what I want to do is I wanted to stake in my Bitte wallet. I actually wanted to do this, but found out that there's no such thing inside the wallet. But then I thought it might be like an opportunity to create something completely new, that is like a new era of UI. So you don't have to choose which validator you want to unstake with. You don't have to claim after that. You just say, I want to unstake like 15 year. And it sees what validators you are staking with. It will claim if you have already some balance unstaked waiting for you to claim. It will unclaim from one validator, or unstake, I mean. If not enough, it will unstake from the second validator, and it literally, everything happens with one click of a button with one prompt, and you don't have
Interesting.
to have all this knowledge of how things work. You just
Yeah.
unstake, and that's all.
Really, that's really interesting. And so it's not only just trying to simplify the process there, but you're also actually like changing how all the mechanisms are working without having to present that to the end user, which I think is really interesting.
Yeah.
Um, in and this is for anybody, but maybe Micro, you might be the best one to answer this. Was that part of, as you guys were starting to see the potential here, building your own runtime and putting it inside the wallet, was the idea of like, look, we can start to enable developers to do something like we're not offering staking. We're a wallet, but we don't have a staking button. But this is a great opportunity where like, hey, devs can do this and they can actually make it better than it would be normally if you guys had a button that said stake here or whatever it is.
100%. That was so we, we were very conscious that we were building a wallet, and we had to build all of these different things like staking, transfer NFTs, do this, do that. I mean, the list goes on and on, right? But as we started integrating AI more and more into the wallet, our goal was to let anyone build whatever features they want to see in the wallet and just make it very accessible for everyone, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's exactly, these are two success cases for us because, we don't want to build the staking. We want someone that's, that knows better how to build this stuff and wants to kind of maintain that to do it, or DAOs, or, any use case. And that's 100% the reason why we let everyone do this.
Yeah. Jazz or Slime, either one. How was the actual development process for something like this? What was, both what challenges did you maybe face, and kind of just overall, what was it like to build something like this versus something more traditional, like a web, front end and back end?
For me, it was like just a format macro. Like you get some data in input, like the validator address .near and the amount, and you basically just multiply the amount by by 10 to 24th, and just return the transaction, and it sends it. So for me, it was not like anything difficult. It was like just an API endpoint that formats the data the way the staking agent the AI will understand it, and
yeah,
then
interesting. So really data driven, right?
The AI can do workflows on its own. You just have to give it a specific command that the user might not give the command in the correct format for the first time, but if you have like even a hard-coded prompt, you can just instruct it to do certain things and it will do it.
Nice.
Yeah, there's actually something that I copied from Slime's code shamelessly, which was just returning a prompt and the data as well. So instead of returning an unsigned transaction, which was what I was doing earlier and was seeing some hallucinations, I started returning a prompt saying, this is the data. Please use the generate transaction tool to generate the transaction instead of returning an unsigned transaction. And it was so much more accurate with the transaction data. Otherwise, earlier I was seeing some hallucinations. So that kind of made me realize that you can actually return anything from your APIs and not just transactions, because my earlier understanding was that you return unsigned transactions and then the wallet just lets you sign it.
Mm-hmm.
And the only thing that the runtime does is parse your natural query into API arguments for the specific APIs that are available. But it actually also does a bunch of stuff on the returned output. So it's not like the returned output goes into a dumb system, so to speak. It is also managed by an LLM, and you can actually do prompts. You can say, here's the DAO data, but show it as, because for instance, the DAO data is returned as a JSON from the let's say the PikeSpeak API or the NearBlocks API. You can return a prompt saying, this is the proposal data, but show it as tables on the UI instead of returning the JSON data. So you can do, I've been thinking you can do some sort of prompt engineering with the return data as well. You can say stuff like display this at JSONs, display the token IDs separately and stuff, and I've used some of that stuff. So yeah. But yeah, to iterate Slime's point, developing the APIs was easy. For me, with the Dow agent, the difficult part was that I did not know the Sputnik V2 contracts that well. So there was a learning for me to dig into different functions and different arguments and whatnot, parameters. So that was fun, but it was relatively easier to spin it up, and then iteratively keep on adding more features to it.
Awesome. So, I mean, you both have been developers for a while. You've built a lot of different things, both in Near and other places. Is this process now working with AI? Does it feel like it is its own learning curve of just trying to understand the system too? Or is it something that, like, it's just like any other project that you're now working on and you're focused on the data in, data out?
It definitely has some learning curve because AI is like a whole new way of programming. Like you have normal programming languages, and you have natural text prompting, and you have to adjust it to the language model that is used. You have to kind of understand how it works. Like it works by tokens, by appending data, and it cannot go back and add data before the answer. So you have to have some understanding of how AI works. But right now, I think most people, even not engineers, have a pretty good understanding of how to use ChatGPT because it's like almost the same thing. So yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and to touch on Josh's point, the prompt engineering, like returning, instead of returning data, I mean, it's still data, but like you can return a prompt. That's actually true. Like our runtime will ingest your result, whatever. If it's a prompt, it will try to make sense of it. And I think in the future, this might enable things like, you see a lot of this in like LangChain, for example, like chaining prompts and stuff like that. So we're thinking a lot of like, how can, like the return of this execution then be chained to another agent execution. And this way we enter the multi-agent, multi-chain or chaining prompts of multi-agents, basically.
Yeah.
It's still early days for us for this, but I guess this is definitely where we're going. And yeah, it's going to be super fun to like connect all of these different agents.
Yeah, that brings up a question that I had as well as, so for people who are coming into trying to, want to build something on Bitte, what is there out of the box? So like, I know obviously like you said, the runtime is linking to OpenAI's API and you're handling that piece of it, but are you handling anything else that's like kind of already in there that people can leverage?
Yes, so I mean, we are definitely doing the inference. We have a set of tools, like primitive tools, that you can add to your agent, things like generate transaction, generate media, stuff like that. That's out of the box. And I think that's pretty much it. Now we're removing, or not removing, but like taking the runtime out of the wallet because it's still part of the same system. It's a that was how it was built, but like now we're removing the runtime and we'll be open sourcing it. So like, I think this is out of your question, but like the thing is like we're trying to make this more open so people can contribute to the runtime, to how everything works. But yeah, let me try to share my screen maybe, and I can show you the boilerplate, one of our examples to start with.
Yeah, that'd be great. And as you show this, I definitely would be curious. I think for people who are watching, looking to build at some point, it might be great that Slime and Jazz, as you see as you go through stuff, maybe parts that were I think important to note, because I've played around with a little bit too, building an agent myself, and it's a pretty straightforward process for the most part, but there are little hiccups here and there. So I think it'd just be good to just again recognize like where some of those things might come up for people. So take it away, Micro.
Okay. Yeah, so Bitte protocol / agent next boilerplate. This is a simple next project. And yeah, so I just forked it, I cloned it. Here you can see two main things. So API, there's two folders, AI plugin. This is the manifest. This is how you describe all of the different available routes. Each one is treated as a tool in our runtime. And some other things like the title or the name of your agent, descriptions, instructions, how you want it to act. The primitive tools you want to import. This, for example, generate transaction will be able to generate new transactions. And yeah, that's pretty much it. This is a open API standard. This follows the open API standard. You can see version 3.0. And yeah, then the tools, each folder here is an API route on the next project and has the actual logic to run, the actual tool logic. So we have built the Make Agent. Make Agent is our CLI tool for running this locally, deploying. It helps with all the different steps of the life cycle of building an agent to deploying the agent. And I'm just going to run it. So like BunDev will run my next project in Make Agent. So I can just do BunDev. It should, all right, I'm already authenticated. This means that I've already signed the message. We need this message to pretty much every single time you change your code, we need to send a request with the changes you've made back to us. And we use this key that you sign with your wallet. Maybe I can even delete this and show the whole process. Wait a sec.
Well, that's a quick question there about that. So as a developer and as you're building on this, as you change your code, is it auto refreshing the background? Like, what do you have to do to make sure that the agent is actually working with the latest changes that you've made?
So in fact, we just need one thing. We just need to update the manifest in our backend. So we store this information. It's it's public when you deploy the agent. So we don't really keep any private information or anything. But for now, I think Make Agent reacts to every single change in your file system under the path you started Make Agent. But this is something we're going to change probably next week. Because we just realized we don't need that. We just need to know whenever your manifest changes. So we send this this update request.
What happens? What happens when that goes on? Is because the AI is obviously retaining some information, right? So because it's context aware for that moment. Is it kind of like resetting itself a little bit, or are you still kind of in that same singular session when you update?
Yes, I guess. Not sure if I follow your question.
So yeah, I guess if I make a change to my manifest, right, and so I've changed where I'm going to get data from. Does that current session that I'm in right now will allow me to now access that, or do I need to refresh anything? Okay.
Yeah, exactly. So if I change, let's see, this name, for example, near DevHub system. I don't know. So now you can see change detected, and it's attempting to update. It's updated. So I guess now our UI will suck at this, but it should change eventually here. So let me send a message maybe. Hey. So you can see that this didn't update, but the name here already updated. So every single thing you change in this file, our runtime will be aware of.
Got it.
Yeah, so you can see near DevHub assistant here, nice. And yeah. So yeah, where was I going? I mean, yeah, this is running. You can see that I signed the message. This is my signature to validate every single update I make locally. You can see the Bitte config. This includes things like the URL. This is local. We need to do this because our runtime initiates HTTP requests to your local tunnel, your local server. And in order to do this, you need to make it live somehow. And we're using local tunnel, Servio, those services to make your local server live. And now, I mean, this is, we can change anything here. Maybe, what do you guys say? Can we try to maybe get Reddit posts? This was the thing I did last session here.
Sure.
You can see there's a tool. It explains, this can fetch and return a list of posts of the Reddit front page. It tells me the schema of my response. So you can see there's an array of items. Each item includes author, title, subreddit, score, a bunch of things. And well, it didn't work. Let me try again. Interesting. Always with live
No
live
problem.
sessions, you know, like funny.
Yeah, I've realized refreshing the page always helps.
Should I just refresh the page? And now there's a weird thing going on. Okay. Get Reddit posts.
There you go.
Interesting. Yeah.
Yes.
Interesting.
Jazz, you had a question. Do you want to ask your question, Jazz?
Yeah. So in the environment file, I saw the Bitte key with the developer account and the key. So every update is being signed by the developer account or something.
Yep. So, for example, if I change, I don't know. Let me add just the character here, maybe. Q. Whenever I detect this change, interesting. It is supposed to send a request. Yeah, see, plugin updated successfully. So for every single change, we sign this with your key and send that to our servers. And then on the servers, we validate whether that change comes from the developer, which we check against the account ID here, and we validate if this account ID signed the actual message. And I don't want to show my whole signature here, so, but yeah, that's
right. Interesting.
Yeah, that's
essentially saying another developer cannot make changes to your agent because it gets verified through your signature.
Yes, for now, but we want to include multiple accounts here. So this is part of like this is in our backlog now to support multiple accounts from the plugin. So like you add the accounts that are that should be available, that should be able to make updates to your manifest or your agent.
Can you maybe just take a few minutes and talk a little bit about, since this is kind of more developer focused, about the runtime and like what's actually happening kind of under the hood? Obviously, there's stuff that's proprietary. You can hold on to that, but anything that you can kind of share of like what's really happening there.
Yeah. So right now, and let me open this maybe here so we can. Okay. So this is, let me go to the AI. So basically, the runtime is very simple. Well, first we get messages, right? And then we based on whatever messages you send, we send this against an LLM. Right now, I think the one we're using by default is 4.0, GPT 4.0, but we support a few others. This is undocumented for now because we didn't have like enough good results with the function calling, but they are there. So like we can load multiple LLMs in the runtime. And then based on the agent you select, we load the routes or, like the different routes that are available per agent as tools. So they get picked by with function calling. So for instance, if we go here, let's say CoinGecko, and we try to get near price, you'll see that this calls, the simple price tool to get the near price. And then you can combine multiple agents in one shot. So like if you go to, let's say, Rev Finance, where is that? It's here. So all of this is kept on the same chat. And so like multiple agents can like share the same context and do different things. I'm not sure if I'm like answering your runtime question, but it's very simple. It's just literally we load different function calls, and based on whatever prompt is sent, we just generate text basically.
Yeah. I did not realize about the multiple agents using the same context. That's really interesting. So is that a product of the way that you are handling sessions?
Yeah.
Interesting.
So let's say if you want to, this one is interesting. We just launched today with base support, and you can check what are my balances on base. Yeah, so I used it before to, let's say, swap 0.8 USDC to degen on base. This is using chain abstraction, and will generate the transaction, the EVM transaction, and then we'll print a really nice UI for me to sign this transaction. So you can see the EVM transaction data, and then I'm signing it with my Near account. But yeah, so I got my balances, and what I wanted to do actually was I want to switch to CoinGecko, and what's my board? How much is my portfolio worth on base? And it should get like the previous messages about my, oh, easy. But
so, Luis, sorry, I'm interrupting you. With the shared context, could we do something like we could let the Dow agent have the context of a swap from the ref agent? Like, would something like that work? Because Slime and I were also just talking about it recently. The Dow agent doesn't do swaps right now, but the ref agent does. Could we somehow get to some level of, even if it's inaccurate, but could we mix match somehow?
Yeah. So right now there's no way to do that. You know, the user would need to select individual agents and send the prompt. But we're thinking of how we can how your agent, for example, like the Dow agent, can initiate a request to the ref finance agent. And yeah, that's where we want to go next. And that was the initial goal, actually, of this. You know, we call this smart actions. I'm not sure if it's still somewhere. I think we've been renaming things, but yes, it's here, smart actions. So like the goal of smart actions was to like write sort of like script, like prompts, and then send this to the runtime. The runtime decides whatever agents it needs to talk to and execute things for the user. So we're definitely going in that direction. Not sure exactly how it's gonna look, but I know we're again, like as I was saying, like we're removing a lot of these things from the wallet and making it, for example, like we're building an API, so like you can talk to different agents with only HTTP requests, and I want to try to show some alpha, but I don't know where that is actually. So maybe I need to stop my screen to search for this stuff. But I think it's also interesting now that we're here. I can show, for example, Dow Agent. If you click here, you're going to go to like a really nice sort of like dashboard where you can see the things are just messages sent, individual messages sent to this agent. So you can see that, and we started recording this maybe like 3-4 weeks ago. And yeah, you're having a daily average of 8. You can see the development history. So like when Jazz works on this thing, you can find the repo. Whoever adds like an open source repo will verify immediately and show it nicely on the UI. So like we incentivize people to open source these things. And you can see like multiple agents. So like meme cooking, I think this was a hit. We're having a couple of really interesting activity here. Yeah, and a lot of other stuff like staking. It's pretty nice too. So, and let me try to stop my screen for a while so I can find the alpha.
Yeah. So the idea here is that one, like just like any other app, like you get a sense of the development still going into it. Is this an active project? All of those pieces of it. Can people still submit though a closed source project, or do you require it to be open source?
They can definitely do it. Yeah.
Okay.
Using the registry, you just need to pretty much make it live, like accessible on the internet, and send and register that link. Then we check, we check if it has a valid manifest, all those things, but it's not required to be open source.
Got it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's nice if it is open source, right?
Yeah.
So
For sure.
And we're now thinking more and more about monetization, and this is something I'm trying to push for early January to be kind of like we have a like a live V0 sort of deal where individual tools or individual API routes are monetized. So let's say if you build, for example, the Dow agent, if you want to monetize your Dow's proposal submission tool, you can put a price on it. I'm not sure exactly if we're gonna do like near only or support multiple currencies, or have sort of like fiat, and then we convert that into the multiple currencies that like you can pay to the agent. But the goal is for every single time you use a tool, you pay for it, and the developer is kind of like making money off of it.
Yeah. And so because of something like that, is that where, even though I know you want to pull some of this stuff out of it, is the wallet piece always going to be there for you? Like, do you see how that goes, like long term, or what does that look like? I guess.
Yeah, I mean, the wallet was very important for us because again, our goal with the whole wallet AI thing was always to simplify how people access crypto. And we know, like for a while, we've been in the space, and we know that in order for crypto to kind of win, like we need to make it accessible for everyone. And we tried to do that with NFTs first. Then the wallet was to simplify, use relayers and all those things to make it possible for people to use apps without crypto. And AI is just like the next level, where you can just use whatever language you use, even if it's English, Portuguese, Spanish, whatever. You can still interact with these applications somehow. Like it's not perfect, but again, like it's one step closer to make it widely accessible. So to answer your question, yes, I still think the wallet will be there, and it's our playground for a lot of these things. But more and more, we want to abstract like how people access our infrastructure. So we don't want to force people to go through the wallet to do these things. We want you to import the runtime wherever you are. Maybe it's a CLI tool, maybe it is a website, maybe it is a native app. I don't know. But the goal is for to let anyone access through whatever client they want. And that's why I'm trying to find this thing to show you how what's our first step into that. I don't know, my internet is not very slow somehow. But
yeah, while you're looking for that, I want to, Simon Jazz, I want to just talk a little bit as a developer here. From like an effort standpoint and time standpoint, is it something where you see yourselves spending more time working on agent things, not necessarily just within Bitte, but just in general, or is the traditional route still just as important because that helps drive an agent later? Like, does it kind of go hand in hand for you guys, or do you see this kind of yourselves moving more towards, let me work more on the agent type of area?
I think it was are important, like for more advanced users. I think having like a smart contract interface or a normal user interface is would be of more use. You can like do more of it, and you don't have to type a long sentence of what you want to do. You can just do 3 button clicks. But for new people who are new to crypto, who don't have technical knowledge, they just want to say something. It's easier for them to type a sentence rather than click do 3 clicks. So I think the base should be the normal UI, and the agent should be for onboarding more people to make it more easily accessible to my grandma.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So the you're saying that the building process should kind of include both, right? Like, we don't want to just go full agent only, right? It's just like we need this progression here of tools. Yeah. Jazza, what are your thoughts here?
Yeah, no, I was also going to say that building agents at the moment are very, very tempting, and I haven't been doing too much, but yeah, I also agree that I kind of split my time in doing the traditional stuff as well. There's learning component, and there's just I feel like some of this stuff can be readily consumed by an agent whenever I want. So I kind of just split my time spending in both sides. But yeah, building agents is tempting and it's super helpful. But yeah, some of the traditional stuff is important, and I feel like it's also just creating more and more resources for the agents indirectly anyway.
Yeah.
So yeah, I personally try to do both.
Yeah, I think that's a great point, especially around, if like the concept of crypto smart contracts is really important still, right? Because it has to get the data from somewhere, right? You still have to have that chain interaction, and so it's not just about throwing more agents at stuff. It's a nice mix here right now, and it seems like that the opportunity again with that Bitte is providing is to get up and running with an agent as a additional feature as well, for sure.
And if you don't have an interface, if you only have a smart contract, then I believe someone from Bitte team made a tool that creates agents from smart contracts API, and you can use it instead of a UI if you want to test your contract before creating a UI. So it can be a big developer experience booster.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean that's a great point. So for developers, that's huge because how often do you get to that point where, especially a more complicated contract, that you're trying to test out different things? And yeah, you can write test cases and you can do stuff from the command line, but it's nice to be able to again speed up development by able just to talk to it. Right, let me just talk to my contract, see what's happening, make sure I'm not missing stuff. It's not perfect, but absolutely, it is a productivity boost.
Yeah, I also feel like with Bitter being fairly popular, it also gives you sort of a sort of an attention space for you to just launch the interface as soon as possible, because otherwise you'd have to market your solution uh, yourself. But with adding an agent, the registry does it for you. So anybody who's going to the Bitter interface to use the meme coin agent or the staking agent will also see your agent listed there and maybe give it a try. So it kind of solves that 0 to 1 problem for your initial users as well. For me, at least it did. So
Yeah, great point.
that's plus point too.
Absolutely. Mike, are you ready?
Actually, I found something, but I don't think it's ready to share.
No,
I'm just
no worries.
so the thing.
I don't put you on the spot. No, it's cool. Yeah.
But the goal is, again, like we have the repo is open source too, so like you can find it. I just wanted to show it, but it's not quite ready yet. But the thing is, like, we're for front-end developers that want to integrate our chat, this will be possible very, very soon. So like it's a React component, you can integrate on whatever app. Just import Bitte AI chat, and all of a sudden you have like your app is enabled with AI, and you can talk to all of the agents in the registry and things like that.
Nice.
So very, very soon. Stay tuned.
Yeah. No, that's great. This is a direction that clearly a lot of developers are starting to put more time and effort into. We've talked a lot about on this show about the different components that go into AI, both infrastructure, products on top, whether it's agents and things like that. So it is a nice opportunity for developers to kind of stretch their wings a little bit and see what's happening. I'd love to just get a sense of, again, this is not holding anyone to this, just kind of like, where do you see the next 6 to 12 months of development in this space? Does it keep going with agents? Is agents right now just kind of this first wave? What are your guys' initial predictions here? Whoever wants to go first can.
I mean, I think, yeah, I can share my opinion. I mean, this is, we're definitely in the first wave of agents. I don't think, you know, we're really exploring the full potential of what this could get. Especially right now, it's just a very good thing at predicting tools, or at least that's how I see it. You know, like you just send the prompt, it's very catered for answering or assisting people, and equipped with a bunch of tools, and it would just pick the right tools and help achieve whatever. But it still needs a lot of hand holding. You know, like it still needs to be interactive somehow. I don't think we're there yet with autonomous agents. But yes, I guess in the next couple of months, we'll see more of that. In fact, I just hired Devin to our team. I've been thinking about it for a couple of days, and you know, FOMO'd into it, and it's actually building a PR for me right now. And this is where I think things will go over the next months, maybe in terms of development and how it will help developer teams. And I mean, we'll try to adapt again, like this product wise. I think we need to be you know, we need to be exploring and trying new things all the time, and that's where we're going to go with the Bitte runtime and the framework, and everything will be enabling more and more of the autonomous agents and whatever comes next.
Yeah, cool. Before we go to the other two guys, can you just, people who don't know what exactly Devin is, can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, it's an AI agent, I guess, semi-autonomous, because it reacts to requests. It can react to or be triggered by GitHub issues or Slack messages, things like that. So, for example, I just gave Devin, which is just a product, you know, like I gave access to one of our repos. Then on Slack, I just said like, hey, Devin, can you help me with this? And if you want me to show how it looks like, I can actually do it, because I think it's very exciting.
Yeah.
So, you know, I just sent a message. This is from Slack. I was very, I just said like, Devin, can you help me refactoring how tools work? This is actually the boilerplate example I was showing before, and maybe improve the AI plugin manifest. I didn't even give like any specific instruction. It was like, go crazy with this high level request. And yeah, I kept sending stuff here, a lot of messages. You can see, you can replay all the things that Devin did. So like he cloned the repo, then ran a couple of commands, did all this stuff, you know, and you can even see the browser, Devin's view. I'm not sure if this works. Shell, all the things that it did. And yeah, I think it created a pull request. So like maybe we can go to refresh this page, and we have a new pull request that was opened by Devin with my request. It changed a lot of things, a lot of crazy things here. Yeah, did some enhancements, I guess. Definitely hallucinated here. We don't have this this stuff in our docs, but I mean, I think the more context you give it, the better we'll get. So
yeah,
it's just this was the first request I asked, you know. But yeah.
Yeah, no, really interesting. I think all these things, while not perfect yet, are really interesting to play with. And again, for yourself, right, as someone who is leading a team, it's got to be interesting to look at, like, how does that affect, you know, how many more team members you need to bring on? What does that mean for your own time and staffing? You know, right? Like, I find myself, like, you know, the active coding is a lot longer than me doing code reviews, right? So if I can have the AI agent, you know, write all this code, and then even if I have to spend an hour doing a code review, that's less time than it would have been for me to actually maybe code everything by myself. So it's like finding those balances, I think, are really interesting. So I'm definitely curious to see how this works out for you over time?
I think for me, the decision making to start, because I know this wouldn't be perfect from day one, but at least there are two things I wanted to improve from day one, and I think the two things are removing the need to spend so much time on fixing bugs, and our backlog is still filled with a lot of bugs to be fixed, and I really feel like our team is more productive if they are focusing on new things. Or like and we're an innovative team, right? We're always trying to innovate, and you cannot really innovate if you're like always trying to fix problems, right?
For sure.
So that's one. I really want to see if this helps us with fixing a lot of the bugs. So like we have a QA guy can talk to Devin and ask for those things, and then the team can review if Devin did good work. And then the second thing was I still feel there's a lot of there's a cold start problem with when working on new tasks, and a lot of that I think can be helped with better explanation, or like spending more time writing down what the task should be about, instead of like right now we have things like work on this, but we don't really explain what this is, and there's a lot of human communication there. So I feel like solving this cold start problem and spending more time defining tasks, and then let Devin go crazy with that, and only then, like, I think the dev team start working on that stuff would help a lot with our team. So that's what I'm exploring here.
Yeah, no, that's really interesting. And I like that philosophy from a developer standpoint too. So if you're a small team or even solo dev, right, of like not getting caught up in trying to bug fix these stuff before trying to keep pushing forward, because that is something that does stall people all the time, right? Like how much time you get going, and I face it myself all the time of like, and now I'm going back and now you're stuck, and especially if you didn't write yourself great documentation, sometimes going back is a bigger pain in the ass. So no, I think that's a really interesting aspect. Jasper, how do you guys see this in your workflows? I know you both are fairly independent developers, but how do you see this working out for you?
Yeah, honestly, my day-to-day workflow right now is very, very AI dependent, honestly. But most of the stuff that I'm doing is, as Luis was saying, is mostly fixing things with AI, because I don't want to waste time going through Stack Overflows to fix things. Although I kind of enjoyed that in the past, but and also just the cold start problem, where if you have an idea, you brainstorm a bunch, and then you get a prototype, and then you can start hacking, adding new ideas. If there's a syntax or other kind of things,
right,
you could get that very easily, as compared to going through the documentation or doing a Google search and going through a bunch of Stack Overflow stuff. So I honestly use it as a mixture of reading the initial docs, and then finding some answers really fast that I wouldn't do on Stack Overflow or other sites that fast. But then also just solving bugs, because it's annoying sometimes, and AI agents can sometimes lead you the wrong way, so you have to keep showing them some direction, but it's still easier. And for me, the biggest pain point all my career has been I just suck at UI. So that has been made, like, that came as a blessing to me with AI agents. Like, now I'm a UI engineer as well, if you want me to be. so it's fully integrated in my workflow right now, and yeah.
very cool. Slime.
I use AI even more, I think, if I really hate doing front end, this HTML, CSS stuff.
Same.
So right now, I think in 2024, about maybe 70% of all the sites, all the UIs I did was mostly AI generated. It was like a Claude, it was WebSim, all these tools. I basically do almost nothing unless it's something with near, because AIs don't have much knowledge of near right now yet. We have to make a lot of documentation and have the crawlers crawl our documentation and libraries to improve this or train our models. But for now, I think we can do pretty much something like on a almost a junior level developer can be almost replaced by AI,
Yeah.
and this is going to just grow almost in 1 year. You will not predict what would happen.
Yeah. No, great point there. Especially around, I also hate front ends. So if I don't want to do HTML anymore, I'm there for that. Yeah, this is something that I think is definitely interesting and exciting for developers. It's not just about like building AI, it's also just how you interact with it. So this is great. I really appreciate you three taking time out of your day to come and talk about this. And everyone should go check out these agents that they built. Again, if you are interested in building an agent on Bitte and it maybe fits into their bounty program, if you go to bitte.ai, you can see the links to their bounty program. And if it fits in within kind of DevHub's purview as well, we will match that bounty. So a lot of opportunities to be rewarded and really build some pretty interesting stuff. And again, this is something that is new. So, if you are creative, you have different ideas, I'm sure Micro and his team are open to hearing fresh ideas as well, too. So before we go, though, maybe just kind of go around. Anything you want to promote? Anything you want to shout out? Anything else like that? We'll take a second, but then we'll wrap up from there. We'll start with you, Slime. What do you want? How do people stay in touch with you? See what you're building. Try out your stuff.
Yeah, check out my staking agent. It is sponsored by 5 pools that are not actually monetary sponsoring me, but I just picked some recommended ones from my Twitter in the comments. So if you don't know who to stake with, you can just ask it for the stake for recommended pools.
Nice.
So sure to do it.
Nice. And you have a couple of Telegram bots too, as well, right?
Yeah, I have a Betir bot. It's a trading bot. It has notifications. It has near CLI built in. It has it'll take like 10 minutes to explain everything
Yeah.
that it has. Right.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. Yeah, I know you're building a ton here on Near. Definitely appreciate everything that you do. Looking forward to seeing all the other stuff, and we'll put all this stuff in the show notes too. Jazz, anything you want to shout out or show off here?
Yeah, I would just recommend everybody using the Dow agent for your day-to-day Dow needs, and let me know the feedback. If you see any bugs, please let me know on Telegram or Twitter. You can find me on Twitter easily. And yeah, if you have more Bitte agent recommendations, suggestions, if you want to see an agent, that's also something I would want to do. So yeah, hit me up.
Perfect. And well, on you, Micro, what do you got?
I mean, the usual Bitte protocol on Twitter,
Yeah.
GitHub. There's a lot of stuff, bounties, documentation. You can actually there's a few things we will share. I think next week on Twitter, like the different agents. We're very interested to see, to name a few like near intent agent, for example. There's a lot of stuff going on Twitter. We definitely want to see some of that. Yield farming. That's that uses stuff like Yearn, Aave, or different EVM protocols. And I would be especially in Europe now with the Mika law, we cannot be earning with USDC anymore on Coinbase. So we definitely need some agents that help everyone navigate the different protocols and the risks. We'll be sharing a list. And yeah, I mean, follow us on Twitter. I think Bitte posted a tweet or tweet. I don't know how to call them these days, but with all the different devs in the team, and please follow us. And yeah, that's it.
Perfect. Well, again, thanks so much, everybody, for you guys for coming on. This was a great episode, and looking forward to see everything you guys built. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Joe.
really great. And it's something that we want to continue to kind of keep talking about. If you have ideas for agents and things like that, definitely go check out Bitte. That's an awesome opportunity to kind of get started today. Just a couple of quick housekeeping things. So I'm scrolling at the bottom of the screen. Again, if you haven't signed up for the DevHub newsletter, we have all the things happening in the developer ecosystem each and every week that comes out on Mondays. Definitely sign up, check that out, see what's happening, and stay in touch with all that stuff. Dev.near.org is the place to go to get started building on Near. Everything and all your resources are right there to get going. And then if you need developer support, our Telegram group is linked there as well. Next week, we have a special episode kind of bringing the Race of Sloths team back on. We're going to talk about some of the different changes that they have made, some of the different things that they're building and growing on, how they're kind of opening it up to all projects as well, and just kind of a general recap there. A really great thing for developers and different incentives and things from there. So we're going to talk to that team next week. As we go into the end of the year here as well, we'll have some more workshops. We'll have some more end of the year kind of wrap up stuff. And all the way into the new year, we'll continue to have more great content. So if anything you're looking to see, you want to learn more about, please reach out to us. My personal Twitter handle and the Near Dev Hubs is there on the screen. Just reach out to us and say who you want to see, and we'll get them. We'll try to get them here on DevHub Live. But until next week, I am Joe. I've been your host, and we will see you same time next week at DevHub Live. Take care, everybody.